Copy, Lewis. We would have lost track position if we had pitted.
But the marshals here did a great job to clear Latifi's car very quickly. This is lap 55 of 58.
Lap 55 of 58.
And they're getting the car already off the track. The leaders are still coming around the middle sector.
The leaders are still coming around the middle sector. Lies. Absolute lies. Because literally, as they cut away from that shot to show you the replay, this is the safety car bringing that safety car snake of cars through turn 14. That is how it happened. They weren't coming through the middle sector. They were on that corner just before it cut away. That was purposefully done to disorientate fans, to not enable fans to clearly see where the cars were on track. Facts. So this is Jolyon Palmer doing his F1 TV analysis for the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 864,000 views 2 years ago, released on the 14th of December 2021. 19,000 likes. We're going to have a rewind and watch some of this. Need to fast forward the actual footage content because it will get blocked. I've done a test upload and they will block it, but we'll see what we can do and see how much I can actually show you.
So lap 55, they're clearing the car of Latifi. And actually, I think the marshals did a really good job. Fundamentally here, if Mercedes thought that there would be another lap of racing at the end of this Grand Prix, I think they would have pitted Hamilton and maybe...
Yes, if they would have thought that. But they didn't think that. Why didn't they think that? They didn't think that because at the time that the safety car was deployed, Hamilton had 5 laps to go. The data, which I will show you in a future video, reflects that it takes around about 5.5 laps to resume racing after this sort of incident. It wasn't a straightforward clear-up operation. A fire needed to be extinguished. A car needed to be removed off track. Debris needed to be swept off track. And the barriers needed to be checked. So therefore, it was more likely it was to be a longer clear-up than the average style of clear-up. So they will base their decisions and their strategy calls based on that prediction. Hence, the decision they made.
be given up the track position because Verstappen...
So you don't give up track position if you believe that that race is not going to be able to be restarted. And if the rules are applied correctly, that race does not restart.
would have been on the used hard tyre and Lewis would have had a chance to pass him and it would have been...
Hypotheticals. What you're doing, you're projecting a hypothetical. You've not explained the decision-making process for Mercedes. You're coming forward with a hypothetical. Well, if Mercedes would have pitted onto fresh tyres, then it would have been Max on the old hard tyres. It would have been situation reversed. No, it's irrelevant. Safety car finish is the only thing that is relevant.
Role reversed. But I think Mercedes probably were a little bit worried about the race finishing under safety car, in which case...
A little bit worried. No. They would have done their strategy. They would have made that decision based on data, based on probability of what was likely to happen in accordance with the rules of the sport.
If you pit Lewis and he just finishes second because Max doesn't pit, he wouldn't have pitted, then you look really silly.
Yes, you would look really silly. You'd have lost the championship because you pitted unnecessarily.
Given up the race when it finishes under safety car.
Hamilton.
Then I have to fast forward this. And then it's got this bit of footage and the radio messages, which are irrelevant.
Did a great job to clear Latifi's car very quickly. This is lap 55 of 58, and they're getting the car already off the track. The leaders are still coming around the middle sector.
Again, and you can see that this is cutting off. You've just told us the leaders are just coming around the middle sector. And this is what you saw on the live feed. You saw this car getting to here, okay?
And it's just...
And then it cuts to a replay of the crash.
Now about clearing...
That is what you saw on the global feed real time. That is what you saw. And what was actually true, oh, that was Brazil, was that the camera angle did not show that. There is the crane, there is Latifi's car, this is the safety car. So just as this safety car was coming into view, it cut away to the replay, the F1 TV narrative, so that you could not assess where that safety car snake was in relation to this incident.
The bits of debris.
I'm going to fast forward the footage of that.
56. I thought there was probably that this was.
Unfortunately, by showing this footage, it will block the video. So I've got to fast forward, and in doing so, we're going to fast forward his analysis. In fact, what I will try and do is I'm going to actually play this, but overlay a screen of the still of what was on track when Lewis passed the incident. And hopefully you'll just get the audio and it'll be okay. Here we go.
The bits of debris you can see would have flown back onto the track from this crash. So at this point, as we go on to lap 56, I thought there was probably that this was the time to let the lap cars go through, which is usually what happens when the safety car is out.
Right. In order for the lapped cars to be released, the clerk of the course, the person in charge of that track safety, has to declare that it's safe. He has to have checked that that incident has been cleared up satisfactorily and that that track is clear of debris, there's no marshals on the track, and that the barriers are all safe and checked and can perform their role again should they need to do so. That is the requirement, that is his job, and once he's satisfied, he then hands back to the race director to say, right, everything's now safe, you can carry out the procedures.
That at some point, the lap cars go through, is what we're used to now, and then the leaders are all there together. You have all the top guys with the lap cars rejoining the pack. They don't have to catch the back of the pack. That's not in the rules, but they are let go. Now, they don't have to be let go either. They can be.
Yes, they do have to be let go. That is an entire myth. You are lying about the fact that the lapped cars, it's not optional whether you let them go or not. It is categorically not optional. If those cars satisfy the criteria, then they get released, and then they get given a further lap of the safety car with which to attempt to catch the back of the pack. That is what the regulations state, and there are reasons, and you'll see in every single one of my other videos that explain this, what them reasons are.
The race director's discretion, they can be left in the pack. But it's
Lies.
not what we've seen for a very long time since this rule was introduced. Pretty much they're always let go through. And I thought...
You have not seen it since 2012 because the rules changed for the 2012 season. So it's 2011 actually that you last saw it, where they didn't unlap the cars. That is 10 competitive years, 198 Grand Prix prior to Abu Dhabi, where they've been operating under these rules. And you are harking back to 2011 when the rules were different to project that that's a possibility today. The rules changed 10 seasons before this. So no, you can't do that. You're lying to people, and people don't know that you're lying to them.
This would be the time now for them to be sent through onto lap 56, which would give us probably a racing lap with Max on his soft tyres right behind Lewis at the end.
This would be the time for them to be sent through. No, it has to be clear, it has to be safe. And we go by the situation on lap 56, one lap later, and it looks like this. Note this time, there's no crane there, because this is the lap later, this is lap 56. Marshals still on the track, and they are still there as that safety car snake is passing. So I've just evidenced that it wasn't possible to release those lapped cars on lap 56 because the clerk of the course could not have declared that track safe whilst there were marshals on that track. And there is no possibility of releasing those lapped cars prior to that safety car snake going past that incident, and by the time that safety car snake passed that incident, Lewis Hamilton had begun lap 57. That was the earliest opportunity, which means lap 58 is a safety car lap, which means it's a safety car finish. Categorically, that is all it is, and Palmer here is presenting otherwise.
And the marshals are still sweeping the track, so it's a bit of a marginal call.
It's not a marginal call. Stop lying to fans to condition fans with the fact that you think, or you're trying to present, that that is a possibility. It categorically is not.
But first of all, we get the call, lap cars will not be allowed to overtake. Now, this is huge.
It's huge because it's not a valid call. Lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake is not a valid call. The call, which is detailed in the regulations, states unlapping will not be permitted. Unlapping, sorry, I've said that wrong. In the regulations, overtaking will not be permitted. That is what the regulations state. Overtaking will not be permitted. It applies to every car. This is a made-up message. Lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake. It is meaningless. Does that mean that if you're not lapped, you are allowed to overtake? It is a made-up message. It's not in the regulations, and it's not in the regulations because it's ambiguous. It is not a real message. It was created. It was created for this pretense of validity.
Because at this point, that's Hamilton's championship. There's no way that...
Yes, it is Hamilton's championship.
With 5 lap cars between Hamilton and Verstappen, Max could clear them all and then fight Lewis on the final lap. It's just not going to happen.
It's not a possibility. It's not even a possibility. If it's not safe for overtaking, then you carry on behind the safety car until such times that it is safe. When it is safe, you have to carry out the required procedure before being able to go racing again. It wasn't safe until the end of lap 56 at the earliest. That required procedure requires the unlapping of cars and a further safety car lap. That takes us to the end of the race. Categorically, that is the bare facts of the situation that nobody ever states.
Quick as he would be on his soft tyres, he'll lose far too much time in the traffic, and he's going to start a long way behind Lewis as well on the final lap.
An entirely fictitious scenario.
As well, don't forget, with 5 lap cars in between, you put half a second between each of them, that's quite tight for a restart, and he's already going to be sort of 2.5, 3.
Let's talk for 20-30 seconds about something that's not even possible. Throw that in there as an option, another talking point, another variable, which is in no way real.
3 seconds back before he's even made it through the lap cars. So this is basically where the race director is in control of the championship. He probably is a horrible place to be for Michael.
The race director is in control of the championship. Indeed he is. Indeed he is. But he's not the only person in FIA race control. I don't know whether these pictures come from Abu Dhabi race control. Maybe they do. We don't get to see, do we? So what have we got here? We've got 1, 2, Massey himself. There's somebody up here, so there's 4. There's a computer screen here. We've seen time and time again, there's at least 10 FIA officials in FIA race control. They all know the rules of the sport. They know the implications of those rules of the sport.
Massey, because his decision at this point will decide the championship. Nicholas Latifi's had the...
That's exactly what it did. Their breaking of the rules decided the championship. The officials of the sport broke the rules and decided the championship. That is exactly what took place. I'm going to keep this one short, but I'm going to do 2 more parts of this. This is yet further evidence of every commentator of this sport lying about the sport in the way that they present it. Every single commentary of this sport lies about what truly took place. This is systematic corruption. Systematic corruption. Every single person employed and contracted by this sport has lied to fans. 108 million viewers and at least 107 million do not know that they've been lied to. It is disgusting.